You say you like ketchup. Do you really like ketchup? My name is Ryan. Welcome to McKinley Design Studio. I am a woodworker and I guess an artist. I don't know. It's tough to lay claim to that. But I work in wood and canvas and sculpture and computer. I just like to keep myself busy. Well, my sister Nicole, you may have met her on the channel here before. We've done some videos together. Her name is Nicole, and she was getting ready to turn 48. Now, Nicole is a very special sister to me. She has Down syndrome. And so guess what the greatest day of the year is? Her birthday. And she talks about it nonstop. And the only other thing that she talks about nonstop is ketchup. It doesn't matter what we're having for dinner. If we don't have ketchup ready for her, she is ticked. So we all have extra bottles of ketchup at our homes so that Nicole has it. She puts it literally on everything. She puts it on mashed potatoes. She puts it on meat, but she also puts it on things like fettuccine Alfredo. So she's even put it on pancakes before. I haven't seen that, but my father claims it's true. So I decided what better gift for her than, I guess I'm calling it like a ketchup reliquary, like an old world altar to ketchup, I guess, a sanctuary to ketchup, a sacristy for ketchup. Anyway, so I'm going to describe some of the details on the sides here that you're watching me design in Lightburn and burn on my OhmTech 150 watt laser, which is incredible. So you can see here there's some interesting iconography on this thing. So Nicole, she will never be married in this life, but she has big time crushes. And usually they're on very swarthy men. It started off with like Zorro, and then it's moved to Inigo Montoya, and now it's Strider from Lord of the Rings. Oh, I'm putting on a American General walnut stain here. I ended up not liking it, so I put on a Jacobian over it, and that got me a little closer to the dark color I was going for. Anyway, but so my dad, one time, to get her to get in the car to go to the doctor because she was refusing to get in the car, called her on the phone as Strider, Aragorn Strider from Lord of the Rings. And so for 10 years, he has had to call her every night as Strider because Nicole believed that she was going to marry Strider someday. And it's a playful thing. And she talks all about it, and it's amazing. So she talks about him nonstop. And when they talk on the phone sometimes, she asks him where he is, and he says he's camping, and she asks him what he's having for dinner, and he says squirrel, and that he likes to put ketchup on his squirrel. So because of those two loves of Nicole, I have added lots of squirrels to this ketchup reliquary, and I have added the sword of Anduril Narsil, the King of Gondor, on the front of it, which is the sword that Strider wields, Aragorn wields. Actually, Viggo Mortensen, when he directed a movie a couple of years back, it was super good. There's a scene with a knight in it, and he carries Narsil, his personal Narsil copy that he got from the end of filming Lord of the Rings. So anyway, I've just built this really simply out of oak ply. It's 3/4 inch oak ply, a little too heavy, but that's what I had laying around. And then I bought some other oak pieces to make some of the embellishments, like the doors and the base. I ended up just using some inexpensive oak trim pieces for this, and I kind of regret it because inexpensive pine. Did I say pine? Anyway, pine trim pieces. And so they don't take stain the same way that the oak did, so they're a little off-colored. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. But just to say, hey, if you're doing something like this, just go to the hardwood supplier and find oak trim pieces. They've got them. I was trying not to spend a whole lot of money on this. As it is, I spent close to $100 on the wood. But anyway, I just glued the sides together, and then I secured them to the bases with Craig pocket screws. I figured that was going to be good enough for it. It's not going anywhere. This thing's pretty sturdy at this point. There you saw me cutting some glass for the window. I also do stained glass making, and so I've got all kind of the setup for that. That's what that little weird grid thing was for. It's for cutting repeatable stained glass sizes and geometric shapes and all. What else here? Oh, these little things that hold the glass in, these are called glazier points, Glazier. You can find them at Home Depot or Lowe's in the paint section. Painters will sometimes have to take glass out of windows, and that's a way to hold them in until you kind of glue them in or put caulking or put another rail to hold the piece back on it. So I had some trouble with this door. I had forgot to take into account the drop and the rise of some of the little details I put on it. So I had to take the door off, and I had to cut it on my table saw, and then I had to restain it, which is not the end of the world, but sometimes when you're woodworking and you're making things custom, you have to go back and forth a few times. I hate doing that because I like to just plan it all out so that my steps are, I don't know, so they mean something. I hate having to do something twice, but my mother's father, who I never met, had a phrase. He died before my mom was married, but he had a phrase that said, if something's worth right, it's worth right doing. If something's worth doing, it's worth doing right the first time. There we go. And so I kind of believe that, but also sometimes doing it right just means turning around and fixing it. And on a lot of projects, I've found from watching YouTube, a lot of things are assembled and then disassembled multiple times before the final product comes out. But guess what? You're only going to assemble or disassemble that thing once. So, or you're only going to final assemble it once. Or once it's done, it's done. So just do it right. Anyway, none of that makes sense, but so I was just showing you here how I had to restain the inside line, and it fits nice and tight. The magnet on this thing is monster. It's super strong, which is good. That means people will think it's locked and they'll leave your flipping ketchup alone. So there's the little logo. I put ketchup on my ketchup. I figured that was a good crest or name. You can kind of see Narsil there. It's kind of hard to see with the oak. You can see something's there. On the side, I engraved everything is better with ketchup. I don't know, seemed like a perfectly good logo. And then I made these Heinz ketchup bottles on the upper side of it. We'll get a little close up here in a second. And I kind of modified it a little bit so that it was personalized for my sister. It has Nicole up on the top instead of, what do they have up there? I think it just says Heinz. Maybe it says ketchup. I don't know. It says Nicole. And then it's, instead of 47, for the 47 spices that's in it, it says 48 because it was her 48th birthday. And the ketchup bottle is lying on its side in perpetual pour mode so as to give proper nod to the fact that ketchup is only good when it's poured on something. So I gave it to my sister for her birthday this week. She was a little confused by it, but totally was down with getting more ketchup. In no way was she disappointed that she got ketchup for her birthday. Whether they'll use it, I don't know. I kind of like making things where 50 years from now, if it doesn't burn down in a fire, it's going to really confuse the people at Goodwill when my great-grandchildren drop it off and go, what in the world is this? Who would make a cabinet for ketchup? Anyway, if YouTube is still around, the answer, great-grandchildren, is me. Great-grandpa Ryan Wayne. He made it. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.